Hey friends, it's Hope, and today I am here to do a non-spoiler book review over After You by JoJo Moyes. This is the sequel to Me Before You, and if you guys haven't read that book, I highly recommend you doing so. It's actually going to become a movie, and I just looked it up on the internet before filming, and it looks like it is coming out June 2016, so you guys still have time to read the book before the movie adaptation releases. I will link my non-spoiler book review over Me Before You down below if you guys are interested in hearing more about that. But just know that I think JoJo Moyes' writing is so effortless. Her humor is always so great and comes in at the most appropriate times, and it's really refreshing because these two books kind of deal with some very heavy topics. But I definitely encourage you guys to pick up the first book, then pick up After You, because they were both really well done. But yeah, if you guys haven't read Me Before You, I definitely wouldn't stick around for the rest of this non-spoiler review because you will be spoiled. So bye, non-spoilery people. Alright, so if you have read Me Before You, feel free and stick around and listen to my thoughts on After You. So when reading this book, I was expecting such a different story. I was thinking that this was going to be a grand love story, kind of like Me Before You was, where it would give me all the feels and we would see Lou fall in love again. And I was also expecting some really great writing with effortless humor. And I did get really great writing and effortless humor from this book, but what I did not get was a grand and opulent love story that I was really wanting. The tone for After You was so heavy. Lou, of course, is dealing with a lot of grief and figuring out how to move forward with her life and live to her fullest potential. We last saw her traveling around the country and living out Will's wishes and dreams for her. But now, 6 months later, she's back at home. The impact of Will's death is just really hitting her. I felt like that this book was so realistic and it hit on so many things that are very important when you're dealing with grief or overcoming a loss of a loved one and trying to move forward and finding meaning in the littlest things. This was not a warm and fuzzy book, and that was okay. Like I said, it threw me off a little bit because I thought I was going to get some precious love story. With that said, there is a little bit of a romantic relationship in this novel, but it is not the main focus. Throughout this book, we get to know Lou's family a little bit more, and they are so out of the box and so funny. I did enjoy getting to know their characters a little bit more, and we do get some new side characters. Her parents really encourage her to join this support group called the Moving On Circle, and so you get to meet a whole new cast of characters that stay with Lou through the entire book. What Lou went through in Me Before You was heartbreaking, it was heavy, it was saddening, and it was raw. So the results of what she went through in that book translated into what she was dealing with in After You. She did have an unexpected friendship with a guy named Sam, and how things kind of went on with that relationship and the twists and turns that JoJo Moyes threw at us was really clever and refreshing, and I absolutely adored it. And how this book ended was very intriguing. It left so open-ended and it left on a very optimistic note. We really didn't have a full conclusion and closure onto what was going to be happening with Lou's life, which makes me think that it leaves opportunity for a third book, which I would absolutely love. I ended up rating this book a 4 out of 5 stars, and the reason why I knocked it down a star was because we are introduced to a side character who actually plays a really big role throughout this novel, and this character is somehow connected to Will. And I felt like the character at times was very reckless and unappreciative, and I just felt like that took away from the growth of some of these characters. But other than that, I absolutely adored this book. I thought it was just so realistic, and I felt like it was easy to relate to the characters and root them on. And JoJo Moyes just has a beautiful way of writing her books, and I just really enjoyed reading this one. Well, friends, that's my review and my thoughts over After You by JoJo Moyes. Like I said, if you guys really enjoyed Me Before You, I would definitely suggest you guys continuing on with this right now duology, because I definitely think it's worth the read, and it was really interesting to see the path that Lou took after Will's death. And I'll be very interested to see if JoJo Moyes decides to write a third book. I definitely think she left it pretty open for a third, so fingers crossed we get one. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys have the most wonderful day, and I'm sure I will see you soon. Bye.